Hey folks, I have here a CZ Kadet II. Now if you've been to the CZ website, you know that they no longer sell the Kadet as a standalone handgun. What they do sell is this, the basically upper receiver. And it comes just like this. You get two magazines, the takedown slash slide catch, and this here is the slide. It's all one unit. I don't believe it comes apart. And how it operates, this whole slide fits in the lower receiver of a CZ75 and it's fixed. The only thing that moves is right here, this slide assembly right here. So this slide assembly is the same exact weight as a slide assembly from a CZ75, which is right here. Same weight. But of course the 22 is not strong enough to cycle the slide on that, so they did this configuration so it's only cycling that small part there. Now this is kind of filthy to say the least because I've fired a lot of ammo through it and have not cleaned it yet. And this here is what you will need. You will need to own a CZ75 because you'll need the lower receiver. Now you can use a, it'll work with any CZ75 and SP01. It will also work on CZ75 compact and subcompact models, including the 75 compact P1, P6, PCR, and Rami. But the full-size magazine will stick out the bottom of those handguns if you use it. It will not work with the CZ97, 75 TS, P7, or P9 models, which the last two of which are the polymer models. So I kind of feel like CZ made a little bit of a mistake in getting rid of the Kadet, because what it means is you can't just buy a 22 pistol from CZ, which kind of limits this product to people who already own one of the CZ handguns that I mentioned, because not a whole lot of people are going to run out and buy it, you know, spend $500, $600, $700 on a handgun just so that they can spend more money to buy a conversion kit. And the retail on this is $431. So this conversion kit is approximately the same price as a lot of other 22 handguns on the market, a little bit higher. But one thing I'll say up front, this is one of, if not the nicest 22 handguns I've ever fired, and I'll get into that. So before I go any further, I'll just say that this kit is worth every cent of the $431 I spent on it. The specs on this, it does come with 10-round magazines, two 10-round magazines, single stack. It is adjustable 3-dot. The barrel is cold hammer forged. Barrel length is 4.72 inches. It weighs 1.5 pounds, 1.05 pounds just by itself. And overall length is 8.11 inches. And here is the sights. Now, one thing, and I talked to the CZ rep about this. I really think that CZ kind of missed an opportunity with this magazine because it's single stack and 10 round. Every 22 pistol magazine on the market is 10 rounds. I don't think I've ever found one that's not factory. Now I'm sure you could probably buy extensions. But they had an opportunity to make this hold a lot more ammo, and I really believe people would buy that because, like I said, there's not a lot of it out there. In fact, if this was like a 22 round magazine, a 20 round magazine, then I do feel like people would, more people would purchase this and maybe even purchase this gun so that they could buy this adapter, because I mean it's a lot more useful to have a 20 round magazine. Now if you're just plinking, not a big deal, but if you're going to use this as a utility handgun on your property or whatever, then the 20 rounds is a lot nicer, a lot more useful. Assembly is really simple. You slide it on just like you would any other slide. It's going to be a little snug once you get you know, the last half inch, little snug. Once you get that situated on there, and it's not going to move any further, you'll know when it's on. They have these alignment marks, just like on most CZ pistols, if not all. You align the dots and slip this in here. Alright, and now it's in. And something that's really nice about this that is not the case with all 22 handguns is the slide actually does lock to the rear. And this is what I was talking about, where only this part moves. It doesn't give you a whole lot to hold on to when you cock. That's one of the thing I'd like to mention. And it operates the exact same as any other CZ75, where you carry it locked and loaded. You cannot put it on safe if the hammer is down. So it operates the same. Now, one drawback to this, and this is a minor thing, but another thing I brought up with the CZ Rep. These magazines, that little edge right there, that edge, and this edge, these are extremely sharp. I mean, they're not sharp like you could touch them like this, but after a couple magazines, you really start to feel it. And there is no mag assist with this, or no load assist on this at all. So you're loading it like this, and man, let me tell you, my thumbs were sore the next day. It loads easy, there's not a lot of spring tension, but just the constant rubbing, especially on this side here, that's kind of painful after a while. I would say it's worse than any other blister I've ever gotten from loading magazines. So, but that's kind of a minor thing, and I don't know if they'll fix that or not, but very minor thing. Now, the handgun itself, like I briefly touched on before, this is the nicest shooting handgun, nicest shooting 22 I've ever fired. My wife has a Beretta 87 Cheetah, which is also, I would say, up until I got this, by way far above anything else I've ever shot, and is out of a 22, and as far as high quality. But that one was very expensive. That was I don't remember off the top of my head. I have another video posted, but I want to say it was like $650, almost $700 for that. This one here is right up there with that as far as quality. Like this, I mean, this is a really high quality item. This conversion kit is the same quality as just my standard CZ75, and if any of you have fired or put your hands on a CZ75, you know that it is a really high quality handgun. And this conversion kit is the same construction. It's not cheap. I've seen some conversion kits out there in the market made by other companies that are just not great conversion kits. They're cheap, they don't work that well. This functions the same as a CZ75, same quality, same reliability. In fact, in doing research on 22 handguns, this conversion kit ranked higher than any other just standalone 22 handgun on the market as far as quality and reliability. Now, I did an extensive ammo testing because I'm actually doing an article on tactical 22 pistols, and this one rated really high. I had 7 different handguns, and I fired 7 different types of ammo, and I fired 50 rounds of each type, so it was like 350 rounds of ammo. Now this one I actually went, because I wanted to play with this one, I fired a lot of ammo through this one before I even did that testing. And so I would say out of this one, probably close to like 500 rounds. But out of the 350 rounds I fired, I had 4 malfunctions. One of them was CCI, and that one, I fired it, it had a dented primer, but the ammunition didn't ignite. I cocked it, fired it again, and on a second shot it did fire. So that one was not even a jam, and I don't even know if I would even count that as a pistol fault. Could have been ammo. Actually, of all these, it could be ammo. I had 2 malfunctions with Winchester ammo, and I had 1 malfunction with Gecko, which is Ruag, which is a German 22 company. I would say, you know, 3 or 4 malfunctions, however you look at it, out of 350 rounds is extremely good. One of the things about this, it weighs the same as a CZ75. If you've ever fired a CZ75, you know that it handles the 9mm round really well. There's not a lot of recoil. I mean, there's some, but not a lot. It handles it really well. I would say out of the all metal guns, this probably handles it better than any other one, or just as good as any other one anyway. So a 22 long rifle fired out of a handgun that weighs the same, it shoots like a dream. I mean, it shoots really nice. In fact, like with my kids, when I let them shoot it, this handgun, they actually kind of have an issue holding it out in front of them. It's kind of heavy for them to hold out for long periods of time. But the recoil on this is like nothing for them. They're very young. So this is actually a good handgun for kids. If they can hold it out in front of them long enough to shoot it, the recoil on it is like nothing. You really don't even feel recoil on it. So of all the guns that I shot, this one is the nicest shooting. There's like no recoil, like I said. So it's a very high quality handgun. If you do not own a CZ75 or one of the other pistols I would mention, you know, it'd be kind of tough for me to say, yeah, go out and run and buy the adapter kit and buy a gun. If you're looking to buy a CZ75 pistol anyway, buy one and buy this adapter. And I would say if you already own a CZ75 and you're looking for a 22, definitely look at this one. It will be the nicest one that you shoot. I mean, it's really nice. I had briefly mentioned before that I kind of feel like it was a little bit of a mistake for CZ to do away with the the CZ Kadet handgun, because it limits whoever would buy it to people who already own a CZ75 or one of the applicable handguns. So if somebody's looking for a 22, they're not going to go out and buy both. So I kind of think that kills that. And then something else it does, somebody like me, I'm a little bit, I don't want to say I'm OCD, but I'm a little bit maybe OCD. And for example, it's really hard for me to buy an AR-15 upper receiver without eventually going out and buying a lower receiver, because I have to have the complete gun. It's kind of weird for me to have a whole bunch of upper receivers sitting around. And it's kind of the same with this. I like shooting my CZ75, so I kind of, you know, I want to have that configuration, but then I also want to have the 22 version, the Kadet II, and I would just much rather have a complete CZ Kadet II pistol than have the upper receiver sitting around and having to change it out. I mean, not that it's difficult to change it out, but you know, it's not really something you're going to do in the middle of a range session. So I kind of wish they would bring the Kadet II back, but in the meantime, this is a pretty awesome alternative. If you have any questions, please let me know. Semper Fi, and God bless.